Hey guys, Chris Cookin' Nashville here. Do you need some help with your hamburger? This Chris Cookin' Nashville helper is going to help get you guys there. Today, the Carnivore hamburger helper. All right, y'all, this is the cheeseburger type flavor version of a hamburger helper done Chris Cookin' Nashville style. Carnivore, super cheesy, super tasty. And I can't wait to see what Miss Ash thinks of this, and I'll show you guys all the surprises that make up this crazy recipe if she likes it. So let's see what she thinks.
Starters, what a dad joke.
I'm a dad at heart. Even though I don't have kids, I'm a dad at heart.
You really are. Do you need some help with your hamburger? Hamburger help. Wow. Honey, this looks super, super, super pretty. I love the way you have it garnished, the cheese on top, the noodles, the meat. I mean, this is making me just drool. Also, kind of exciting. So I've been on, as we film this, I've been on Carnivore for 1 whole week. Doing great, loving it, all is well. I have to say though, this is the first recipe that I've had though, because this whole week I've just been eating meat, chicken and steaks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The simple stuff that I normally cook for us on the nightly basis that I tell people, I'm not making recipes every night.
Right. But I do have to say that I am really looking forward to this, and I do love the traditional hamburger helper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to dive in here because, I can already tell just putting my fork in here, it's like your noodles. I think this is going to be really good. You get a little cheese sauce, a little meat. That's incredible. That really is. Wow. Honey, this is so good. I haven't had the traditional hamburger helper in many years, but this is exactly how I remember it. Noodles, which are such a good texture, such a good flavor, taste nothing like eggs or anything that they shouldn't. There is so much of a beef hamburger flavor in here.
I'll show you guys in the video how you can make this super, super beefy, and actually it's going to save you a little bit of money in the long run too.
And then it's like that cheese sauce with the cheese on top, honey. Wow.
So this is kind of interesting because this is the first recipe type thing that she has had since doing Carnivore. She was the one that was like, I'm really excited to try this. I'm looking so forward to this. As much as I love all the other stuff you've been making, I'm just looking for something that's a little bit different and interesting. And she was like, I think I'm going to have a completely new appreciation for your recipes and why they may matter so much when you're first doing Carnivore and you're first learning how to eat the things that make you feel really good. You can have things like this stabilize and feel like you're having a little something special every now and then.
One of the things that I love about Carnivore is how simple it is. It's definitely a pro of it, but to have something like this, I mean, come on. It gives you variety. It also kind of, especially if you're struggling with maybe cravings and stuff, don't go eat real hamburger helper or real pasta. It's make this instead. I really do think it's just as good, and it's so tasty. I mean, I'm going to eat this entire bowl or another one because this is delicious. This is seriously so good.
Well, I think this is really good. I'm going to show you guys how to make it. Before you ask, I do believe you can freeze the noodles. I think you would cook them, you would cut them into the pieces like I do, and then before you do the last step where I fry them up, you would put them into an airtight container, a bag, a container of some kind, and you'd be able to refrigerate them for a few days or freeze them probably for a few months. Thaw them back out, and then you would do the last frying step and make your sauce and your hamburger the way that I'm going to show you how to do. And to get that super, super beefy flavor in here, there's a little bit of a secret, and I'm going to show you how to do that right at the end of the recipe. So make sure to stick around for that, and let's go ahead and show them how we make Carnivore helper. All right, here's all of our ingredients for the Carnivore helper. This is going to look pretty familiar because of my mac and cheese recipe, but there are some tweaks. The first tweak is a half of a cup of shredded cheese. Use any kind that you like, but it should easily melt. This is about a cup of cooked salad shrimp that's been thawed. You can also use raw chicken breast or a white fish. I have 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. This is 4 tablespoons of egg white powder and 1 tablespoon of unflavored gelatin. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole eggs. So let's get all these things in a blender and whip up some noodle batter. First the eggs, then our protein like shrimp, chicken, or whitefish. Then our cheese goes in next. Then our softened cream cheese on top. And the powders go in last so that they don't clump at the bottom of the blender. Now we just need to blend this on up to make our batter. Do this about 10 seconds on low and then crank it up to high for at least 30 and up to 60 seconds. Once it is fully liquefied, we can shut it down. Now I'm going to pour the batter evenly between 2 grease dehydrator sheets. I will link these below. You could also use a cookie sheet with parchment paper if you would like, but it may spread a little thin, so I would recommend getting these if you are able to. The batter should be thin enough that you can just tilt the pan to get this into all the corners. If your batter happens to be thicker than mine, just coax it along with a spatula. Now we're going to place these in a 325-degree oven, and we'll set a timer for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're going to pull these noodle sheets out, and you'll see they have pulled away from the sides of the pan. While our noodles begin to cool, we're going to cook a pound of hamburger over a medium heat. The fattier, the better. You can use whatever seasoning you like, but I'm going to use a little of this Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and that's going to be about a teaspoon, more or less to your taste. I'm also adding a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. I'm also going to add a half of a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. Now we just need to brown our ground beef, and I'm going to link this meat chopper below because it does an incredible job for something like this. Now our ground beef is fully browned and cooked, and we're going to strain that fat into a bowl. Don't get rid of it. We're going to need it in a little bit. Now that our noodles have cooled to room temperature, we can go ahead and stack these on a cutting board, and we're going to cut it into macaroni size. Wait. Yes. Now we're going to preheat a large pan to a medium to medium-low heat, depending on your stove. And we're going to add in about half of that hamburger fat. Then we just dump in our noodles and fry in the hamburger fat to get that extra beefy flavor that is going to be very reminiscent of that hamburger helper we all remember. Fry this in that seasoned beef fat for 3 to 5 minutes or until you just start seeing some golden brown colors around the edges. To make our sauce right with our noodles, we're going to use 3/4 cup of sour cream. And we're going to stir that through these noodles really well. We're also going to add about a ½ cup of regular cream. Use more or less depending on how thick you want your sauce. Now I have about 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. I'm going to add this 1 handful at a time to slowly incorporate it so that it does not lump up on me. When 1 handful is well combined, go ahead and sprinkle in another and keep doing this until all the cheese is gone. Once we have a thick, creamy, cheesy sauce, it's time to add the hamburger. Now all we need to do is taste it for salt and plate it up. All right, y'all, that's how we make the carnivore hamburger helper, and you can see the use of that beef fat as the way we fry the noodles. Instead of doing that in butter like I've done with previous types of noodles, we use the beef fat. And I changed up the recipe for this noodle a little bit. One, to make it a little more like that hamburger helper sort of feel and vibe and flavor, but also because you're gonna be frying it in all of that beef fat, I wanted to change the ratios just a little bit so it works a little bit better. I think this might be even better than the version that I did for my mac and cheese, because that's the recipe this was based off of that I tweaked. I think this might be even better, but we're just continuing to refine those recipes each time we do them. I think this one is absolutely fantastic though. Using that beef fat actually helps save you some money too, because when you're making this, you're already gonna get all that beef fat that comes out of the beef anyway. Instead of pouring it out down into the trash can or throwing it into something else where it doesn't do you any good, you can put it in something like this. You get a super beefy flavor from the beef fat. It's really good for you because it's that animal fat. You don't have to pay the money to take butter and throw it in there to fry your mac and cheese. And depending on where you shop and what kinds you get, butter can be a little expensive sometimes. It's a great way to use all of the parts of what you're doing and work with something really inexpensive like cheap ground beef.
This dish then is not that expensive to make.
Right.
It also is very hearty and very filling. So this would be great for large parties of people, or especially families.
Kids will love this.
Oh, eat it up, man. Or if you're a big kid like me, you're gonna eat it up. As I've been eating it, like as we've been sitting here and filming and I just keep eating, I've gotten some bites where it's literally like just the noodle, and the noodles even taste like meat.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how you've done it, because like as I keep eating, it's like, it doesn't matter what's on the fork. Every bite is like that perfect cheesy, beefy, noodly flavor.
That's how we match the flavor here. There you go, guys. You heard it from Ash. It is delicious. It is wonderful. We're going to go sit down and eat this and enjoy our dinner because it's been a long day. We filmed 2 videos now, and I think we just deserve a break, and we deserve an early bedtime after a really nice carnivore helper dinner. So thank you guys so much for watching. All of my links are down below. My Patreon and my YouTube is down there if you want to join the channel or join the Patreon, be a member of the band. They get extra recipes and different little things. I've actually got a couple of ideas of things to do with this I'm going to send to them because I think it's going to be really, really cool. All the other links are down there. If you guys want to click on one of those, is another way to support the channel. There's a whole bunch of options. Even if you don't want to do that, you can click the thumbs up button, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below to let us know what you think, and if you're going to make this carnivore helper for your family, your kids, your grandkids. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Cookin' Nashville, my lovely wife, Ash Taylor. Eat your meat, especially when it looks like hamburger helper. Love your life, and we're going to see you right here in the kitchen for the next maybe family-friendly recipe.
Well, you look good.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you look nice.
Happy?
That's an understatement. This is so good.
Isn't it good?
It's so good. Hairball.
Yeah.
Hairball. I love you for many reasons, but
This is one.
this dish, this is the reason, babe.
There you go.
This is the reason. This is delicious.